My last thing, and this video is very long. I'm at 30 minutes right now. Hopefully I cut it down. But the bridge, man. The bridge has me in a chokehold. Well, first of all, here's the bridge. The bridge to me is a declaration. It is a reminder that God is in control. And whenever I get to this part, it's like I am telling myself that even though it doesn't feel like it, even though I'm going through it right now, I need to remind myself that I know who God is. He is the God who reigns high above the heavens, who's sovereign, who knows the beginning and the end. Yes, I've been singing this song over and over, and I have been listening to sermons, and last night T.D. Jakes came on, and he was talking about how to recognize God's answer. And in this, he was talking about this verse in Isaiah 55:7. Let the wicked forsake their ways, and the unrighteous their thoughts. Let them turn to the Lord, and he will have mercy on them. And to our God, he will freely pardon. He talks more about the entirety of the verse, but he focuses on this one. And what he focuses on is that it says, let the wicked forsake their ways, and the righteous their thoughts. God wants us to forsake our thoughts, because the thoughts are the things that get us into trouble. The thoughts that if we leave them unchecked, they're the ones that cause us to doubt, to stumble, to seek our past ways of finding peace and joy. And so God said, forsake our thoughts. Forsake our thoughts, because when we turn to the Lord, he will have mercy on them and he will freely pardon them. And if we go back to the verse that Terrian was talking about in her psalm, you will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. And so, because I'm like, okay, trusting in God has to do with my thoughts. And my thoughts, and I wrote it down here on the back, the thoughts that I've been having that I need to forsake. And going back to 2 Corinthians 10:5, we take captive every thought and make it obedient to Christ. And so this week I have been trying, although it feels like my thoughts have been going rampant, I've been trying to take captive of every thought and make it obedient to Christ. And in that, I wrote down 3 things that I have been struggling with in terms of my thoughts. God's not going to come through. And then I went and found some verses to counteract that, because I'm bringing it to Christ and using his words to say opposite of what my thoughts are saying. My thought, God's not going to come through. Mark 9:23. If you can, said Jesus. Someone comes up to God and asks him if he's willing to save them, to heal them. Jesus replies, if you can, said Jesus, everything is possible for one who believes. Another verse that I saw was Revelation 3:9. I know your deeds. See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. I know that you have little strength, yet you have kept my word and not denied my name. Y'all, I know you have little strength. I'm telling you, this week has been such a struggle to just get up, to not be stressed, to move on, to eat, to do what I need to do in order to survive as a human being, because I've been so stressed out. And God said, I know you have little strength, yet you have kept my word and not denied my name. And so I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. And so this leads me to think about how if I don't pass this test tonight, and I will find out in a couple of hours, if I don't pass this test tonight, then I won't have a job. And I told my pastor about this, and he said the same thing, that God opens doors that no one can shut and closes doors that no one can open. And so if it's not my plan, it's not what I've been praying for God for me to do. And that's something that I heard from my pastor and from Pastor T.D. Jakes, is that sometimes when you pray to God for a solution, it's not going to be the one that you expect. I'm expecting something that I didn't pray for, because I asked God, please let me get this unemployment. Didn't happen. And I asked God, please let me pass the test. We still don't know. My other thought that I've been talking about is that I am not praying correctly, and that's why God can't hear me. Ephesians 2:8-9. For it is by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not from yourself. It is the gift of God, not by works, so no one can boast. God sent his one and only son just because he loved us. We didn't do anything. And this ties back into my first thought that God's not going to come through, because I've been doing all these things. I feel like I've been praying and like reading my Bible and watching these sermons, because I'm like, if I do all these things, if I tithe, if I do all these things, then God is going to bless me. And I have to reconcile the fact that I need to do something in order to receive God's blessing, his grace, and his love, when in fact, I don't have to do any of that because he loves me anyway. And although it's not happening in the way that I want it to be, it will happen because God is my provider and he will provide for me. And so although I may have some bills up the wazoo right now, and even though I might hustle in order for me to make my car payments, I just have to trust that God eventually will provide for me, because I will not always be stuck in the situation. I'm only 23 years old. I'll be 24 in 9 days, but I will not always be stuck in this situation, and I have to trust that eventually that God will provide for me. Like, God's just gonna have me wait in forever. And again, that's just a reminder, like God's timing, like and I think it goes back to like Isaiah, like your thoughts are not my thoughts, your ways are not my ways. I just was reminded again that I've been in a waiting season for a very long time, but in different aspects. I've been waiting for a season for my purpose to be ignited, waiting for my husband, waiting for my family to get closer, to get stronger relationships, waiting for the mental health to improve of my family and my friends, waiting for a whole bunch of different things for years, right? And it hasn't come to pass, but I still have faith that it eventually will. And although this situation that I'm in now, where I have to wait, seems more dire than all the other situations, it still will come to pass. And you see, I'm already hyped up because this is something that I feel like I've been having a breakthrough, because I woke up today and I had felt the peace. I wasn't as stressed as I have been in the past couple of days. God's timing is like his ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. His plan we won't understand, but eventually we'll come to a place where we'll understand it. And I know I'm getting off track. This is like a Christ chat, a car chat, and a lyrical analysis mixed into one. But this song, Bible verses that I've been reading, the situations that I've been through, this is just a real life example of how this song has led me to a point where I can feel peace with the knowledge that I know that my God will come through for me, even though at times I have doubts. The last thing is like the bridge. She says in the last two lines of the bridge is like, I know that you walk on waves, and I know that you'll never change. And something that I told my pastor when I was texting him about everything that's been going on is that I was just reminded of Peter, of how Peter trusted God to walk on water, but he started focusing on everything else around him and not on God. And so that's another thing that came with trust. Like, I'm trying to trust God. I'm trying to trust that he will come through for me just because that he loves me, not because of anything that I did. And I'm like, yo, but when Peter's in the storm, like I'm looking at a tree, right? The singular tree, but everything around me, I have a building over here, cars moving over here. There's a lot of stuff going on. And I'm like, sometimes I can't blame Peter for getting off track, because that tree, like, I could get, like, a bug just flew past my window. And how I said it to my pastor is that, like, I'm in a storm right now, and I'm trying to stay focused on God, but the rain, when it's pouring rain, the rain is on my face and in my eyes, so I can't see anything. But the thing is, when I open my eyes, when I wipe those things away, I will see God standing in front of me. I will still see the tree because it's still there. It is my firm foundation. I hope this encourages anyone who's going through a season of waiting. I'm still in it, but I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I know it was a combination of my two different video formats, but I really hope you enjoyed it and that it encouraged you, because this is something that I'm currently going through. Like, comment, and share. Like, comment, and share so this video gets shown to other people who might need it, and share it to other people who you think this will encourage as well. Subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye, guys.